Planning to have your wedding at Millrace Village in downtown Northville? Millrace Village is a city park in the city of Northville, but it's operated and maintained by the Northville Historical Society, a 501c3. Millrace Village is primarily funded by wedding rentals, donations, and memberships. When you rent for your wedding at Millrace Village, you're renting the entire grounds, along with the historic 1845 church. This building on your left, after you walk through the village gates, is the Katy Inn. The restrooms in the church are not handicapped accessible. The restrooms are in the basement. Your docent, who's hired for you for the day of your rehearsal and your wedding, will open the Katy Inn to any guests who need handicapped accessible restrooms. The docent walks through the grounds prior to the start of the rental and asks anyone on the grounds to please leave, that there's a wedding that's going to be starting. They put signs in the parking lot entrances that notify anyone that there's a private party in progress. They also put a sign up to the bridge, over the bridge to Ford Field, which is right next door, also letting anyone at Ford Field know that Millrace Village is closed to your guests. This is our 1845 New School Church. The New School Church originally was built by a group that splintered off from the Presbyterian church in town. It served as a church for just 4 years, served as our city library for 75 years, and a meeting space as well. On Sundays in the summertime, from 1 to 4, the village is open to the public, with all the buildings open with docents to tell the story of the buildings and the people who lived in them. We have a gazebo that's a popular option for a lot of our weddings. When we do a chair setup at the gazebo, the chairs are set up on the lane, and couples can choose to be married at the top of the brick steps or in the gazebo itself. This is the Yurky's house, a very popular location for weddings. We've had weddings on all 4 sides of the Yurky's house, as well as here at the dam. No matter where you have your wedding at Millrace Village, you can take your pictures at any of these locations on the grounds during your 2-hour rental. You can add extra time to your rental as well. Please ask the office for details. These are views from the inside of our gazebo. We have some couples who choose to get married in the gazebo itself, and some again at the top of these steps. Imagine your guests in chairs on this lane, watching you say your vows. If you do have your wedding in the church, this turnaround can be used when dropping off guests at the church for your ceremony. All guests can be dropped off, but cars do need to be parked in the parking lot due to fire laws. This is the 1845 New School Church. You can choose to get married on the front porch of the church if you'd like. You can choose to get married wherever you'd like on the grounds. As you enter the church, you'll see a cross hanging. The cross can be left up or it can be taken down if you prefer. There are 10 pews that seat approximately 50 guests. There's an additional 75 oak folding chairs that you may choose to set up yourself or pay us to set up for a small fee. The organ and the piano both work, and they both may be used. Decorations in the church are typically kept pretty simple. There are hooks in the inside aisle of all the pews that you can hang flowers from if you choose. Up in the balcony, you can have up to 30 guests seated. Total capacity of the church is 120 people. You might see the ropes hanging from the ceiling up in the balcony. Those ropes lead to bells that were actually made in Northville at our foundry. Choose to have someone ring the bells at the start of your ceremony or perhaps after you say your vows. In the lower level of the church is a finished seating area and a kitchen. You're welcome to use both. There's 2 restrooms in the basement for you and your guests. This restroom is usually the one that the guests use. If a guest does need to come down and a bride's getting ready, she usually will go into the larger of the 2 restrooms. There's a vanity for her to use and also hooks that are set up high to hang dress or a dress for the bride or a suit for the groom. This is the kitchen. Again, feel free to use the kitchen. Please make sure that all trash goes in the trash cans. Your docent will take care of removing all of that at the end of your rental. Again, in the church, just a reminder, no open flame is permitted, except for the use of a unity candle. That's the only one that's permitted. This is a view of the lift. Your docent will run the lift if you have a guest who can't walk up the 5 steps into the church. This is a favorite spot for outdoor weddings. It's called the Yurky's home. The front sidewalk makes the aisle for the couple to walk down. On the green front lawn is where we can set up chairs. Approximately 60 chairs can be set up in this front yard. Many couples choose to say their vows on the front porch because all of the flowers are planted. The Northville Garden Club spends over 300 hours every year on the gardens around the Yurky's home. This is a view that you would have if you choose to say your vows at the Yurky's home, looking out at your guests. This is a view of the North Bridge. We have a lot of couples who will take family pictures on the bridge or pictures of your wedding party. It's a beautiful scene no matter the season. The grounds are maintained by volunteers at the Northville Historical Society with funds raised by memberships, donations, and rentals. The Northville Historical Society does not receive any tax funding from the city of Northville. There's 2 points of entry into Millrace Village. One through the gates at the front entrance, and the second through the North Bridge. Some couples want to have a long walk to the church, and this is the way to go. Walking over the North Bridge with the Weaver's Cottage Garden on your right, which is also our earliest blooming garden of the year. It starts blooming in April and May, and constantly has a variety of different perennials blooming. We hope that you'll consider having your wedding at Millrace Village. Any additional questions, please call or email our office today. Thank you.